Ever wondered why VHS tapes beat Sony Betamax in the video format war of the 70s? Let's dive into the Sony Betamax saga. This nifty piece of technology, the brainchild of the tech giant Sony, took the world by storm with its superior picture quality. It was a sight for sore eyes, a marvel of engineering that promised to revolutionize the way we watched videos. But here's where the plot thickens. Betamax had a glaring Achilles heel: its 1-hour recording limit. Imagine trying to record your favorite movie or a football match, only to run out of tape midway. Quite the buzzkill, wouldn't you agree? Enter VHS tapes. Sure, they might not have matched Betamax's picture quality, but they offered more recording time, a feature consumers valued more. And just like that, VHS tapes stole the show. So, superior technology doesn't always win the race. Timing and understanding the market's needs do. Next up, the DeLorean, a car that looked like it was straight out of a sci-fi movie. But was it really? The DeLorean, a name synonymous with cinematic time travel, yet in the real world, its journey was far from stellar. Envisioned as a futuristic dream on wheels, it boasted a stainless steel body and gull-wing doors that made heads turn. But alas, under the hood, the dream started to unravel. The DeLorean was underpowered, its engine lacking the punch to match its space-age aesthetics. And those fancy gull-wing doors? More of a hindrance in tight parking spaces than a feature. The price tag didn't help either. It cost a small fortune, making it a luxury few could afford. The DeLorean was a lesson in engineering hubris, a stark reminder that all that glitters is not necessarily gold. The DeLorean taught us that style without substance is a recipe for disaster. And oh, what a disaster it was. Remember the Virtual Boy from Nintendo? A promise of 3D gaming in the 90s that fell flat? The Virtual Boy was a daring step into the unknown, a leap of faith into a future that wasn't quite ready to materialize. The concept was intriguing. The reality? Less so. The design was awkward, more reminiscent of a science experiment than a home gaming system. It was a tabletop setup that was as hard to play as it was to look at. And speaking of looking at it, the red monochrome display was infamous for inducing headaches, a far cry from the immersive 3D experience it promised. The game library was another sticking point, lacking in variety and depth. The result was a console that was more novelty than necessity, a gadget that gathered dust rather than gamers. The Virtual Boy's failure reminds us that user experience is paramount. In the end, the coolest concept in the world means nothing if it's not enjoyable to use. Microsoft's Kin aimed to capture the social media-savvy youth, but did it succeed? The year was 2010, and Microsoft had its eyes set on the burgeoning social media landscape. With the Kin, they hoped to create a phone that would resonate with the youth, the digital natives fluent in the language of likes, shares and retweets. But the Kin was akin to a misstep. It wasn't the sleek and trendy design that was the problem. No, it was the lack of features that left users wanting. From the absence of an app store to a subpar web browser, the Kin was a phone that struggled to keep up with its contemporaries. To add insult to injury, the high data pricing was a bitter pill to swallow for its target market. Just 48 days after its release, Microsoft pulled the plug. The Kin's story is a stark reminder of the importance of market research and user testing. Indeed, the road to innovation is sometimes paved with missteps. Finally, Google Glass, a futuristic gadget that was more of a spectacle than a success. This was a device straight out of science fiction, promising to overlay digital information onto our everyday world. The idea was exciting, but the reality? Not quite so. Google Glass faced a multitude of issues right from the start. Privacy concerns were a big one. People feared being recorded without their consent. Plus, limited functionality didn't help its case. For all its futuristic charm, Google Glass couldn't do much more than show notifications and take pictures. Then came the price tag. At $1,500, it was far from affordable for the average consumer. Despite its innovative concept, Google Glass was a commercial flop. The project was eventually shelved, leaving behind a legacy of lessons for future innovators. Google Glass showed us that not all futuristic technology is welcomed with open arms. Sometimes the world just isn't ready yet.